That was a more satisfying experience for me than scoring the winning goal in the Stanley Cup finals for the Montreal Canadiens. I was 9 years old in Ottawa when the Ottawa 67s started playing, and very early in the 67s existence, they hosted the Memorial Cup. So I was aware, they did not play in it that year, but I was aware of the Memorial Cup from a very young age. Well, it was terrific. A kid growing up in Ottawa, I think Dennis Potvin really opened our eyes to the possibility that kids from Ottawa could play major junior hockey. Kids from Ottawa could play in the NHL. And I used to watch the 67s when I was a kid, and you didn't think about playing for the Toronto Maple Leafs or the Montreal Canadiens. You thought of maybe one day being good enough to play for the Ottawa 67s. And so I did play for them, and it was a huge thrill in my career to be a member of the first 67s team to win the Ontario League Championship and play in the Memorial Cup. We played in Vancouver. Sherbrooke represented the Quebec League. There was no host team then, but as it turned out, New Westminster Bruins were the representatives from the WHL. And we lost a heartbreaking 6-5 game in the final. Future teammate of mine, Brad Maxwell, scored the winning goal with a couple of minutes left in the game. And I can honestly say that it is one of the few regrets I have in my entire career, because I got one shot at it. We were within a hair's breadth of winning it, and we did not. We certainly understood that, and you understood. It seemed to me, playing with the 67s, that the Toronto Marlies were always such a powerhouse, and how were we going to be able to beat that team from Toronto? Well, year two, we were the best team in our league. But you knew that this was not something you were going to get a crack at every time, and particularly we had a bunch of graduating players on that team. I had one more year of junior left, but it was devastating. That was a more satisfying experience for me than scoring the winning goal in the Stanley Cup finals for the Montreal Canadiens. It was to build the team and to see it come together and to see your young players, and some of them Halifax natives, and to have such a special group with players, our two top players picked first and third overall in the NHL draft, and still knowing that you might never get this chance again. There's 60 teams chasing this trophy, and to win that, it was a thrill from my standpoint, but from the owner's standpoint, I was happy for everybody else in the organization as well, the players, our coaches, our manager who built that team, and it was a unique thrill. It was an extremely talented team, there's no question about that. But it was a selfless team as well. I mean, those guys were good teammates, and our best players were good teammates. It makes me laugh to think of the 20-year-olds as the older guys, but the 20-year-olds were great leaders and good players, and they understood the special team they were and the special opportunity they had. And when we had to win the big games, we won the big games. As in anything, well, it's unique because you only get limited chances at it. I played in the Stanley Cup finals when I was 23, lost. 10 years later, I had another chance at it. You don't get another chance 10 years later for the Memorial Cup. And, it's a great chance. And I know a lot of great NHL players wish they had won the Memorial Cup, no matter how many accolades and trophies and Stanley Cups they won as pros. It's a very special trophy to win, and to bring it back to Halifax, or to bring it back to Red Deer, or to bring it back to Guelph. It's a fantastic thing. It was tremendous to see how meaningful it was to so many people. This franchise has been around it'll be 25 years this year. And we have some fans who connect uniquely with a junior hockey team, and closely with a junior hockey team, that you can never connect with a professional team, because you can get so close to the players, and the players aren't yet surrounded by their entourages and their agents and their financial advisors. And it's a different kind of feel, and I'd been around hockey long enough to realize it and appreciate it. As a hockey player, I've said many times, I got to the Ottawa 67s and I played hockey, and 3 years later I was a hockey player, and they are huge differences. And lifelong friendships from that group of guys, learned discipline, learned time management, learned how to be a good teammate, and thoroughly enjoyed it. And as far as the Bobby Smith Award, it's something I'm extremely proud of. You know, it's a unique thing, and education was very important to my parents, who were raised during the Depression in Cape Breton, and they drummed it into their kids that they were gonna get an education. And I went back to university when I was 35 years old, and finished an undergrad degree and an MBA. And I'm immensely proud that every year the Ontario League gives out the Bobby Smith Award.